All right, being 6 o'clock, I'll call the Marathon County Board of Supervisors to order, please. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please remain standing. Following the Pledge of Allegiance will be a silent moment of reflection. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll have the reading of the notice, please.
The adjourned annual meeting of the Marathon County Board of Supervisors, composed of 38 members, will convene at the Marathon County Courthouse Assembly Room, 500 Forest Street, Wausau, on Tuesday, March 24th at 6 p.m. The agenda was duly signed and posted.
Thank you. I would like to request everyone, please silence your cell phones and any other electronic devices as to not to be an interruption to the meeting, and I thank you for your indulgence. We'll move on to roll call, and I'd ask all of the supervisors to please sign in to roll call manager. Thank you. I'd like to welcome all of the visitors that we have with us this evening, including the viewing audience, and thank you for your interest in Marathon County and Marathon County government. So we'll move on to educational presentations or reports. Standing committee chairpersons or designees. Any reports by standing committee chairs or designees? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to consent agenda items C8 through items C13B2. Motion by Supervisor Rosenberg, second by Supervisor Vall. Any discussion on items C8 through items C13B2? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. Supervisor Marash? Excuse me, Supervisor Hoppe? Aye. Supervisor Hoppe, aye. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried and is unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to the Executive Committee. Item D14, adopting the Marathon County Comprehensive Plan 2026. Repeal and recreate Chapter 26 of the General Code of Ordinances for Marathon County, Ordinance 0-13-26. Motion by Supervisor Marash and second by Supervisor Covelli. And I'd like to turn it over to the administrator.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'll be brief in terms of background. There's a memo in your packet and begins on page 36 that was offered by Lori Miskimmons, the Director of Conservation Planning and Zoning. Not going to go through that. I want to just again reiterate the suggestion that was offered that I offered at the last meeting and we ultimately moved forward with. Beginning on page 39 of your packet, there are a series of proposed amendments that staff compiled based on the information we received from various supervisors. And I just want to quickly go through each of those and give just a little bit of background. And then my thought is similar to how you, again, operate when you consider the budget, is that we would take those amendments either individually or if there's a couple of them that I think would work well as a package offer, but that would be up to the supervisors to offer those in that fashion. So again, I'll begin on page 39. One of the pieces of feedback we got from the original the draft update to the comprehensive plan related to pages 67 and 68 of that draft that was published. Specifically, we had attempted to make that section shorter, and in doing so, we removed a paragraph that I think provided some helpful context as to the generation of some livability standards and livability factors. There was some discussion at your last meeting about was that really necessary? So staff went back and we tried to shorten it up, condense it, and make it both more easily understood, but also based on the fact that some of those livability factors were a bit dated, to summarize them. So that is amendment number 1. It keeps those factors in there, but again, just keeps it to the high level, 6 core principles. Amendment 2, 3, and 4, I would say are a good example of what I referenced before about a general theme of amendments. It really seeks to make some language changes relative to how we talk about wind and solar and renewable natural gas, particularly in farmland areas. So to refer to those in the context of energy systems as opposed to farms or anything of that nature, really try to get at the large scale wind and solar installations. So you'll see some very similar changes in terms of language throughout each of those sections, amendments 2, 3, and 4, and those were offered by Supervisor Dickinson, suggested a lot of that language. Vice Chair Dickinson, excuse me. Relative to amendment number 5, one of the pieces of feedback we got was that the comprehensive plan draft did not have any expressed reference in the background sections to data centers or battery energy storage system facilities. And of course, those things have been more at the forefront in presentations with the Counties Association and concerns from local townships. That was a very good catch by the board, and staff went back and we tried to put together just 2 sections to talk about what each of those things are and include those in the comprehensive plan. And you'll see later in one of the other proposed amendments in the objective sections, we incorporated language relative to regulation based on supervisor feedback there as well. Amendment number 6 relates to one of the strategies within your implementation section of the draft plan. Specifically, there was a request to call out a reference both to radon and lead, in the efforts we have to support remediation of older homes. Amendment number 7 is that reference to data centers and battery energy storage system facilities that I indicated before with amendment number 5. The other change I would say that is incorporated into that section is to change the language from engage in planning, that is actively review and engage in planning. The discussion at the board was really to be mindful of our ability to regulate when it's permitted by state law. So we made that change, that suggested change, to actively review and regulate when allowed by state law large energy projects, and then that's where we included data centers and battery energy storage system facilities. Amendment number 8 was a suggestion, a proposed amendment by Supervisor Lemmer to specifically call out references to a couple of key technologies, those being automation, artificial intelligence, and data analytics. So one of your strategies, the suggestion is to add a strategy C under chapter 10, objective number 4. And that is to support employer-led efforts to explore emerging technologies, including automation, artificial intelligence, and data analytics. I would say my characterization, that would be the outward facing. That's to help that's outside of county government, primarily in terms of how it's drafted. And then conversely, the request is to amend chapter 12, objection 1, strategy C, to address that internal focus, to reference those same technologies so that it reads leverage cutting edge technology, including automation, artificial intelligence, and data analytics, advanced systems and modern infrastructure to enhance and modernize government operations and service delivery and address current and future needs in an ethical and transparent way. And then amendment number 9 was a request from Supervisor Sandelsky under the utilities section to add a strategy E that references the promotion of clean coal, natural gas, and nuclear energy, a long-term, cost-effective, sustainable, and reliable energy source for use in Marathon County without destruction of thousands of acres of prime fertile farmland. Again, to kind of get at that idea relative to energy. Amendment number 10. This was an oversight on staff's part. You actually previously did, in the published draft of the plan, made some language changes. You approved language changes in this section. You certainly can, if you want to wordsmith it further, but from my perspective, you already did remove an express reference to enacting an ordinance, and so I don't know that it's necessary. It was really included as an oversight. Amendment 10 isn't overly necessary from my perspective. But that is the quick and dirty recitation of the amendments that were offered. And with that, if you have any questions, Mr. Chair, I certainly can try to take them. And I know that Lori Miskimmons is online as well. And staff will be taking notes as to the direction relative to any amendments that are offered to the plan to make sure we get that language correct.
Okay, open it up for questions. Questions by the board on any of the amendments, proposed amendments that were at least drafted, somewhat drafted by administration at the recommendation and request of supervisors. Okay, with that, do you want to take the Supervisor Lemmer, please?
Thank you, Chair Gibbs. I just wanted to clarify my amendment. What is it, number 8? Yes. I'm completely flexible on that. My goal here is to put in this 10/20-year plan the word AI or automation or artificial intelligence, so it's there. So for instance, in Chapter 12, where it says leverage cutting-edge technology, including automation, artificial intelligence, and data analytics, enhance and modernize government operations and service delivery in an ethical and transparent way. It's the transparency and the efficacy I'm looking at. You know, when you are looking at, I don't know, a health and human services application, you want to make sure that you're not automatically enrolling people or checking eligibility without having a human behind the decision so that you're not losing people. Likewise, in Chapter 10, where it says support employer-led efforts, I'm thinking I serve on the Extension, Economic Development, and Education Committee, and in that committee, we have relationships with various higher education like NTC and the UW, so if there's a possibility to get training through those institutions to employers. Likewise, the extension may offer programming for, let's say, farmers to do precision farming. That's really what I'm getting at. So completely flexible on the language, but I just feel strongly that we should have something in this document acknowledging that it's coming. And we need to be ready to respond to it in a strategic plan should that come up.
Okay, any further discussions? Do we want to take these one at a time? Or possibly 2, 3, and 4 as one? What's your pleasure? Vice Chair Dickinson, please.
I think we can offer them one at a time, starting with 1, but I would offer 2, 3, and 4 together. So I don't know if you want me to make a motion for the amendment or such, or how do you want to do that?
Why don't we take Amendment 1? Who wants, and does anybody want to make the motion to offer? Vice Chair Dickinson offers Amendment number 1 on livability. Is there a second to that motion? Just a second, the clerk needs to enter each one of these amendments into open meetings. Please don't push the second yet. Let the clerk record the vice chair's motion. Okay, now a second. Okay, motion is made by Vice Chair Dickinson to include the language as presented on livability. And Supervisor Robinson with the second. Any discussion? Any discussion? All right, seeing none, let's proceed to vote. Supervisor Hoppa? Supervisor Hoppa, aye. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried and is unanimous. Thank you. Now, we're down to amendments, potentially 2, 3, and 4, if we want to take them as a group. Please hold off on making the motion. Vice Chair has already made the motion. Now the second by Supervisor Hardinger. This is on alternative energy systems, items 2, 3, and 4. Any discussion? Supervisor Kroll, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would actually make a recommendation to take each individual amendment. So I will be voting no, but it's just a recommendation that I think we should do this individually.
So I would entertain a motion to separate. Is that the motion?
Yes, thank you.
There's a motion to separate. Is there a second? Second by Supervisor Rosenberg. So just a second, the clerk needs to enter this in. The motion is to separate. Any discussion on the motion to separate? Any discussion? Correct. All right, we'll proceed to vote. Supervisor Hoppa, please. All right, we'll proceed. And the motion is carried. And so now I will all right, now as soon as the clerk is ready, I will take separate motions on each one. First up is amendment number 2. Is there a motion? Motion by Supervisor Mask and seconded by Supervisor Cavelli. Supervisor Robinson, please.
Just a point of order, I don't believe that the division of the items are properly before us based upon the original motion. The division just means that they're before us. I don't believe you need to make a motion on each of these separately, because they are already before us.
I just checked with counsel and he told I was needing a motion on each one. So
I think because you've separated them, there is a possibility that there'd be one that people do not want to have brought forward to the board. And that may be the reason for the separation. I can look up Robert's rules if you wish.
do you want to call into question, Supervisor Robinson, the ruling of the chair to have a motion on each one?
I just as a former parliamentarian, I disagree, but I'll go with it.
Well, I've already taken motions and seconds, and on them, the clerk in here, we would have to vote it down and then take back up the motion with 1, 2, and 3 in it. So we're now debating amendment number 2 on the alternative energy systems. Any further discussion? Any further discussion on amendment 2? Did I take? Did I? All right, seeing no, Supervisor Hoppe, please.
Could you summarize it for me, please?
I ask the administrator to summarize amendment number 2.
Sure, if we can put it up on the screen, Kim, I don't know if that's possible, but it's on page 40 of your packet. I and it on my screen, not on the right. There you are. Essentially, it's clarifying language to remove a clarification of what renewable energy is, and it refers to energy projects. So all of the new language is in red on page 40 of the packet.
So it's removing the words renewable energy and making note that they're energy projects and large-scale wind and solar. So Vice Chair Dickinson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Like you said, it's just the language cleanup, and this was discussed with the administrator and with Laurie as well as language that would be acceptable. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion on Amendment 2? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried, but is not unanimous. Moving on. Now, item amendment potential number 3. What is your pleasure? The clerk again needs to enter the amendment into open meetings. All right, now what is your pleasure? Motion by Supervisor Hagan and seconded by Supervisor Marash. Any discussion on Amendment 2, or can we pull up number 2 on the wording on number 2? Okay, that's, excuse me, item 3. Vice Chair Dickinson, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The language is very similar to Amendment 2, again, which the administrator and Laurie, Ms. Skimmons had thought was acceptable. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Supervisor Kroll, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm wondering if we have a definition for the state's local goals for clean energy. The reason why I bring this up is because the sentence before it says these facilities are recognized as essential for meeting, which was crossed out. Instead, it says may meet state and local goals. My understanding is that you cannot meet any state clean-wide energy goal without wind or solar. So for me, like when I'm reading this, I read this as that statement is not correct because we may not meet any clean energy goal without solar or wind. That's my comment there.
Vice Chair Dickinson, please.
Thank you. I think what's important in this situation is state goals could change within the next 10 years or 20 years. I think the other thing is it says state and local, and there may not be local goals if there are state, and so may is actually more appropriate. Thank you.
Further discussion? Further discussion? Supervisor Kroll, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With the comments that the Vice Chair just said, I believe that is true. So my recommendation is to split out the state and local goals. So there is state local goals. So that is correct. That is, I understand that those may change, but as of right now, the goals, the only way to meet those goals are through solar and wind and other minutia like hydro. So I guess what I'm trying to say is solar and wind is needed to meet the state goal, the state goals. So that is a true statement. But it does not have to meet our local goals. So if there's a way to separate those, I would make an amendment for that.
Administrator Leonard?
I don't have anything to offer. Just that, again, this section is in the background section of the comprehensive plan, the data and narrative portions. It's not the implementation section, but if you want to offer, and if anyone wants to offer an amendment to wordsmith, happy to take notes and capture that.
I'm going to withdraw my amendment. Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? We're talking about amendment number 3. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried but is not unanimous. Moving on to, the next up is amendment number 4. And the clerk needs to enter the item. And motion by Supervisor Ritter and seconded by Supervisor Cavelli. Any discussion? Any discussion? All right, we'll proceed to vote. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried but is not unanimous. Moving on to item number 5, amendment number 5. The clerk has got to enter into our voting system. This amendment deals with data centers and battery energy storage systems. Motion by Supervisor Marash and seconded by Supervisor Conway. Any discussion on this amendment? Any discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed. Whoops, Supervisor Lemmer, please.
Sorry, a little indecisive. I just want to say I have an appreciation to have data centers in this, but the way this is worded, it is a little too ideological for me, so I will be voting no.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried but is not unanimous. Moving on to item number 6, as referred to the radon and lead issue. Again, the clerk needs to enter. Motion by Supervisor Drabek and seconded by Supervisor Seefeld. Any discussion? Any discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried and is unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to item amendment potential number 7, referring to data centers best and regulate when allowable by law. Motion by Supervisor Shaneborn, seconded by Supervisor Marash. Any discussion on item number 7? Again, referring to data centers best and regulate them when allowed by law. All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried but is not unanimous. Moving on to item number 8, referring to automation, AI, and data analytics. And what is your pleasure? Motion by Supervisor Robinson. Is there a second? Second by Supervisor Lemmer. Any discussion? Supervisor Marash, please.
I would, excuse me, I would like to use the Chapter 12, Objective 1, amend existing strategy C to read what it states under A. Since Supervisor Lemmer said she was amiable to that.
So your motion is to amend the amendment?
I thought that these two were options, unless I misunderstood, so I am making a motion to use the second option, just Chapter 12, instead of having both of these. Since this first one, C, support employer-led efforts to explore emerging technologies, including automation, artificial intelligence, is sort of wrapped up in the Chapter 12, Objective 1 strategy.
Lori Miskimmons, you're on the phone, please.
Thank you, Chair Gibbs. I do believe, we'll have to ask Supervisor Lemmer, I do believe she was proposing to bring both forward, but there is, where it says 12A, that should say 12C, the A is a typo, just to clear that part up, so.
Okay, so with the typo corrected. All right,
Hang on, I'm double checking right now, but.
Supervisor Lemmer?
Yeah, just to clarify, the two that are there, one's for Chapter 10, one is for Chapter 12. Chapter 10 would really encompass things that are outside of county operations. Chapter 12 would be more the county operations itself.
Yeah, I apologize, that was my typo. So up on the screen right now is your existing draft that was published for Chapter 12, and building on what Supervisor Lemmer just referenced. The existing strategy for C does reference leverage cutting-edge technology, advanced systems, and modern infrastructure to address current and future challenges. So the amendment language is in red to essentially bring in that reference, that specific reference to those other things. But the distinction as laid out before is really, Chapter 10 relates to that external focus, economic development, which, again, my characterization, largely outside of the county government and local government. And Chapter 12 is really about the county and its governmental cooperation with other units of government. Hope that helps, and again, sorry for the typo.
Okay, Supervisor Covelli?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess maybe Supervisor Lemmer might be able to answer her thoughts on this one, where it says address current and future challenges in an ethical and transparent way. And maybe she could give some examples of what an ethical or transparent way means.
Yeah, for transparency, I believe we need to have an acceptable use policy here at the county, and that should be published somewhere. I know the administrator is working on that with some other entities that we are aligned with, namely the city of Wausau and our IT department, and maybe some others. But and as far as ethical goes, you know, when you are employing AI to make decisions, I feel like there should be humans that are checking those decisions, especially right now, which I believe is in the proposed acceptable, thank you, use document that the administrator is working on. So, you know, again, I don't want to get too granular with this because this is a 30,000-foot view of AI, but having it in here, I think, opens us up to if there is a need to arise in a strategic plan, we can address it. So it's kind of what I'm thinking.
Oh, thank you. That clears it up. And, you know, I agree with what you just said about being ethical and transparent. I think that's a good addition to that. So thank you.
Other discussion? Other discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried and is unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to item 9, cleanup for coal, natural gas, and nuclear. And motion by Supervisor Arstead, seconded by Supervisor Covelli. Any discussion? Supervisor Sandalski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This one was promote clean coal, natural gas, and nuclear energy, a long-term sustainable, reliable energy source for use in Marathon County without destruction of thousands of acres of prime farmland. So the reasons for my amendment, I did a little research on the matter, and to back up my amendment, here are the findings. Clean coal and natural gas plants last 60 plus years with the maintenance. Nuclear has the ability to last up to 80 years with maintenance. On the other hand, industrial wind and solar on farmlands only will last you 20 years at the very best with a lot of maintenance. And the sustainability, the clean coal and natural gas and nuclear are sustainable without federal subsidies. On the other hand, industrial solar and industrial wind are basically non-sustainable, and they won't exist if you don't have the federal subsidies from the taxpayer subsidized. The reliability, clean coal, natural gas, and nuclear are by far the most reliable, especially in our Wisconsin climate. Industrial wind and solar are very intermittent with our Wisconsin climate. Limited days of wind. Wind and sun leave the reliability of these energy sources very low. You get your winter days, don't get much sun. The wind is spotty at best. To the best of my knowledge, the wind and solar power is going to be going on the grid and going to cities and south. So, in my recommendation, we don't need to destroy thousands of acres of prime fertile farmland to power cities to the south. And after the 15, 20 years, these lands will no longer be farmable because the wind turbines shed PFAS, fiberglass, oil, asbestos, and solar emits toxic chemicals, heavy metals into the soil and waterways. And thousands upon thousands of prime fertile farmland destroyed versus a few hundred acres at most for use with clean coal, natural gas, and nuclear. So that was the reason for my amendment. Thank you.
Supervisor Robinson, please.
I intend to oppose this amendment. I'm not sure what clean coal is. There is cleaner coal, but there isn't clean coal. And I don't think anybody wants a coal-fired plant next to them coming in new. We currently have the one in Weston, but I'm also concerned about nuclear energy without clarifying what type of nuclear energy. I don't think anybody in this county would want a nuclear plant located here because of the demands for the water. On the western side of the county, there just is not enough water for the cooling system. So I think this is promoting it in Marathon, for use in Marathon County. I don't think that that's going to be located in Marathon County. We can, as a purchaser, do that, but I don't think that's what it's saying here. So I intend to oppose the amendment.
Supervisor Rosenberg, please.
I'm also going to oppose the amendment. I worked at the Weston Power Plant. There is no such thing as clean coal. It's a marketing promotional thing. Coal is dirty, and it's going to be, and you can't get it that clean. Pollutes the air. You have to do something with the fly ash. Even just the coal piles, they had to clean the houses across the street from all the coal dust flowing, which is where our county highway department is going. The other thing that I don't like about this is the wording where it says thousands of acres of prime fertile farmland. What about mediocre farmland? I mean, it's the same thing. This smacks of politics to me, and I don't like the wording. So I'll be voting against it. Thank you.
Supervisor Boots, please.
There was some of the verbiage I did not like as well, but I would like to make an amendment to that. I know it sounds weird, but I would like to read it this way if somebody's got a pen and paper ready to go. Promote promote coal and natural gas until a long-term sustainable and reliable energy source for use in Marathon County can be found that does not adversely affect thousands of acres of prime agricultural land. And the reason behind that is kind of what Supervisor Robinson said. I don't think anyone wants a nuke in Wausau, Wisconsin, Marathon County for that matter, so.
I'd ask the administrator if he's got the wording down and wants to, or if you, Supervisor Boots, want to read it back.
I said to be ready. I understand. Promote coal.
My shorthand's not that quick.
Promote coal and natural gas until a long-term, sustainable, and reliable energy source for use in Marathon County can be found that does not adversely affect agricultural land.
Okay. Is there a second? And just a second, Need the clerk to enter the amendment to the amendment. Don't, anybody please push motion or second. Stop pushing.
Don't push buttons, please. Okay.
Okay, now I'll take a second. Second by Supervisor Vol. Discussion on the amendment to the amendment. Vice Chair Dickinson, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll just make just two brief comments. I have no problem with nuclear energy. I wouldn't mind it if it was in Marathon County myself. Whether it can actually work, that's a whole different story. But it's another energy source, and so I think in the whole concept, looking at all energy sources is really the way to go. The second thing, there actually is clean coal. You can look it up. Clean coal refers to the technologies to reduce emissions, what the pollutants that go up. We're not saying that coal itself is clean, but it is actual term, and it's not really a political statement. Thank you.
Supervisor Rosenberg, please.
We're promoting coal, and what you're saying there is you want electricity to be more expensive. Coal is not economically viable anymore in the marketplace.
Supervisor Boots, please.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I forgot to say that. I apologize. But Weston 3 is regular coal and Weston 4 is actually considered clean coal. And it's what they said with the emissions, so that is correct.
Further discussion on the amendment to the amendment. Supervisor Kroll.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to confirm, was the term cost-effective still in the amendment?
I don't believe it's spelled out anywhere what cost-effective is. Sustainable and reliable, but not cost-effective.
Okay. I guess, yeah, my feedback on this is that the feedback on the cost effectiveness is correct. We just heard last week that Andy from the law firm just stated that wind, solar, these types of energies are the cheapest to be installed. So if we are thinking about what is the most cost-effective way to produce energy, it is solar and wind, and that is just a fact now. So we just need to be mindful of how we want this to be for Marathon County. If we're looking for ways to increase capacity really fast at a cheap way, it is solar and wind. That is a fact. If we want it to be long-term, that costs a lot of money for infrastructure, that's where nuclear, that's where coal, that's where natural gas comes into play. And they still have the side effects with, that we have to bring in outside energy sources. We do not produce coal. We do not produce natural gas here in Wisconsin. That all has to be brought in. And if we want to have a reliable, dependable energy grid, we have to produce energy here too. So as it was said, we need to have a mix of all energy, but it also has to be dependable and cost effective at all times. It can't just be we are looking towards one source of energy because we've known through history that it is reliable. Things are changing. Natural gas is now the biggest producer of electricity. However, solar and wind are keeping up, especially in other states. So let's just be mindful that if we do get rid of, or if we do promote coal, natural gas, it is not the most cost effective. It is not the most sustainable, and it will not be up very fast. So thank you.
Supervisor Boots, please.
Last one. Yeah, I didn't have cost effective in mind, but the reason I would agree with this, promoting it, is, to be bluntly honest, within the next 5 years, we're going to need 25% more electricity in the state of Wisconsin. So we're going to need wind, solar, nuclear, coal, gas to just get what we need. So I know what everyone's saying on this, but I think we need to promote it because right now we have some things that are down, and I don't believe they need to be down. I think we should be firing them up until we find a better solution.
Okay, Supervisor Sandalski, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the long-term reliability of solar and wind, they're not reliable. There happened in Texas where they had to refire all their coal and their natural gas. I think it was all their coal plants because all the turbines froze up on them. So it's 3-4 years ago. I don't have the article on me, but I read it before. And there was another country in Europe where the same thing happened, where when you get ice on these things, when you get snow on the panels, it's not a reliable source. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay, we're talking about the amendment to the amendment, and I'd ask the administrator to read back the amendment wording to the amendment.
Sorry, I think,
Pass some notes.
I believe the amendment were to read, promote coal and natural gas until a long-term, sustainable, and reliable energy source in Marathon County can be found that does not impact thousands of acres of prime farmland.
Adversely affect agricultural land, not thousands of acres.
Adversely affect, can you say that again?
Adversely affect agricultural land.
Thank you.
Ag Committee, NACO.
Any further discussion? Is everybody clear what you're voting on? You're voting on the amendment to the amendment. Supervisor Vol, please.
Thank you, Chair. I just had a quick comment on the Weston Power Plant. So Weston 3 is due to be retired in 31. Weston 4 is due to be converted to natural gas in 30. And right now they have they call it a RICE plant, which is 6 natural gas powered turbines that are producing about 130 megawatts right now. So they want to expand the RICE plant, bring in some more of those natural gas operated gens. And so I just wanted to add that information if nobody else had heard that before. Thank you.
Supervisor Sandalski, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I will support the amendment to my amendment. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Supervisor Rosenberg, please. Any further discussion on the amendment to the amendment? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried but is not unanimous. Now, as amended, any further discussion? So this is now amendment number 9. Okay, I kept the people that were in the queue prior to the amendment being offered. So Supervisor Sandalski, any further comments other than you're supporting the amendment to the amendment? Okay. Any further discussion? So now we are voting on the amendment number 9 as amended. Supervisor Rosenberg, please.
I guess we should understand that we're not building power plants. Investor-owned utilities largely are, or buying them after they're built. I don't know when Weston 4 may be the last coal-fired power plant that was built in the United States. I'm not aware of any others, and there wasn't for a long time. You won't get a utility to build a coal-fired power plant.
Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote on the amendment to the amendment. Or, excuse me, as amended. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried, but is not unanimous. I believe that takes us to item number 10, that the administrator said was already incorporated into the new version of the comp plan.
Correct, that was included, I can actually pull up the current draft, but it would be on page 248. Land use goal. So that would be, and Lori, correct me if I'm wrong, but that would be under the land use goal, item 2B. The language originally read in a previous draft, it expressly referenced the adoption of an ordinance. That was the language that was modified to reference the development or develop county-level policy and/or programs that limit or regulate winter manure spreading in high-risk areas to reduce runoff, protect water quality, and preserve soil structure. So bringing forward those things for consideration by the board is essentially was the modification that was made before.
All right, now any other discussion? So now we're at the point of voting on the comprehensive plan, ordinance 0-13-26 as amended. Any further discussion? Supervisor Sandalski, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I had one more amendment. I didn't quite get it in time to get it to Administrator Leonard. I gave it out on the paper. It's under Chapter 9 under Land Use, Section 1, subsection C, added the C. It's utility scale wind, solar, and battery energy storage facilities are considered industrial scale land uses and should be located in areas planned for industrial or utility infrastructure uses rather than prime agricultural lands. The reason why I bring this up is when you look at the zoning and all that stuff, the land zoned for agriculture, and our whole comprehensive plan tries to preserve agricultural land within it, and if you go to the industrial like power companies and energy companies, they're zoned under industrial, so it also when these wind energy, so they should also be considered under industrial land as well. So you're taking away from the agricultural lands. So that's why I brought that amendment up. I got it a little late, sorry.
That is offered as an amendment. Is there a second? Just a second, the clerk has to, please do not push any buttons.
Slap your hands away. Okay,
Now I'll take a second. Second by Supervisor Hardinger. Any discussion? Any discussion? Supervisor Wilhelm, please.
So with this being controlled by the state and the Wisconsin Department of Energy, do we even have a say in where they can put them? They can put it wherever they want?
Currently, as you heard last Thursday, if the project is over 100 megawatts, effectively the Public Service Commission is the regulatory authority oversighting. And so, again, we speak to that in our plan that says, if allowed to regulate, we would regulate. But again, it's only if we're allowed to regulate, and that currently the Public Service Commission on large-scale projects are the authority for siting. Okay, Supervisor Wilhelm again? Okay, Supervisor Zhang, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to get the CPZ director's input on this as well. I don't know if this has been run by staff at all yet, but just want to get their insight as well.
Chair Gibbs.
Yes, please. Ms. Kimmons, please.
I'm going to have Shad Harvey, my land resources manager. Now, we didn't catch we might need to have it repeated again. I think there might be some fine nuances with county zoning that Shad can try and explain, just to be aware of when we start to limit uses in our zoning district. So I'll let Shad explain.
Hello, can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can, Shad. Please go ahead.
All right, so there's actually quite a few uses that are allowed in the agricultural districts that aren't necessarily agriculture, but they're supporting businesses that assist agriculture. One of the things we all have roads, right? And road maintenance is a big thing. So non-metallic mining, for example, is allowed in agricultural zone districts. One, because you need the aggregate to be able to build roads and other areas on farms. Co-ops, for example, could also be used or could also be looked at as a commercial or industrial type use. So, I'd be careful as far as restricting all commercial and industrial uses per se out of agriculture, because a lot of those types of uses do, in a sense, support agricultural and the agricultural base.
Supervisor Poole next, please.
Could we have the amendment read again before we vote? Thank you.
Sure can. So the amendment would read under subsection C, utility scale wind, solar, and battery energy storage facilities are considered industrial scale land uses and should be located in areas planned for industrial or utility infrastructure uses rather than prime agriculture lands. Corp Council's doing some fast research, unfortunately, because we
get to Shad and Lori.
Any further discussion? Okay, any further discussion? Supervisor Hardinger, please.
Should we have this reviewed by a subcommittee before we vote on this? I feel like there's a lot going into this.
I think that historically, that's why we had this discussion for 6-8 months. And I think there's some challenges and some ideas that potentially hasn't been thought of yet in this. And there's always the opportunity to amend our comprehensive plan at any time in the future. So if we wanted to refer this back to a committee to review and then bring back its recommendations, we could amend at a future point, but that would mean that we would have to either refer to committee now or vote it down and then bring it up at committee at a future point. Again, understanding the challenges that you have today is this is the last meeting of this board, and so it would fall onto the next board if it was going to be referred to a committee and/or if it was going to be brought forward as an amendment to the comp plan at a future point.
Thank you, Chair.
Supervisor Kroll, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was just going to echo what Supervisor Hardinger had said as well. So thank you, Supervisor Hardinger, for bringing it up. I have some questions regarding some of the definitions. If it's utility scale wind, does that mean that it's regulated by the PSC, or what does that mean in this case? I have some questions regarding if it's on county zone or non-county zone land, if it's on like a municipal or non-county zone land. So I would say this is not ready for prime time yet, and I will be voting no on this. Thank you.
Supervisor Zhang, please.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to make a motion to postpone this to the next, I guess I'm going to ask for the Corporation Council for the correct wordage here, but I'm going to make a motion to postpone this to the, I guess, the next term, to the next term or slate of Board of Supervisors to take up. I don't know what the exact term would be, whether it's going to be postponed indefinitely.
So just to be clear, you're talking about potentially referring the amendment back to the committee that the comp plan is chaired under?
Yes, that's correct. I guess the only reason I was thinking about postponing it was because of the fact that we may have a new board, et cetera, and want to make sure that it's going through the proper channel. But if the correct language is to refer it back to committee or to the committee that's overseeing it, that would be my motion.
That would be a proper motion, and it would require a majority vote. Something sticking in my mind that says it has to be brought back to the next county board meeting, but I'm double checking that unless the other parliamentarian knows. I'm happy to have the assistance, quite frankly.
The amendment.
Put down the amendment also. Vote to refer it back.
Yeah.
Just the one amendment.
They say it's preferred that you have a reporting time frame for the committee to get back to the main body. I don't know if you want to put a no later than date on there, the May county board meeting, or that the committee should bring their findings back.
I'll make the motion to postpone it to the to committee and bringing it back in the May meeting of 2020. Well, let me take a step back. The committees are not officially voted on though yet until the end of April. Is that
Right.
correct here? So you just want to make sure we have enough time as well too. So I would be fine with it being May of 2027 here. Oh, not 27, 26, sorry. Think you ahead.
And is there, I guess the only other thing I would want to clarify is which committee are we referring it back to? Just to be clear on the record, so we don't have a fight over who's supposed to be looking at this. ERC, is that the committee you think it should go to?
I think the ERC would be sufficient, but I would also defer it to the chair as well.
So yeah, ERC would be it. So I think what we have before us then would be a motion to refer this proposed amendment to the ERC committee with their recommendation to come back to the board at the May county board meeting. I think that's what I heard you say.
Yes, that's exactly what I said.
Exactly, all right.
Okay, is there a second to that motion? Just a second. Please hold off on pushing buttons. Now you can second the motion. Supervisor Mast with a second. Now discussion. The motion is to refer to the ERC committee to bring back a recommendation on the amendment only, back to the committee, or back to the board in its May meeting. Supervisor Sandulski, please.
I was wondering if we could just vote on the, you can send the amendment back, but can we just still vote on the full comprehensive
That's
plan?
what this would, this would refer the amendment only back to the committee to bring back its recommendation at the May meeting. And if that is approved, then the board will then take up the remainder of the comp plan that we have already amended.
Okay, so so we'll be voting on all the other amendments?
All the amendments have been adopted.
Okay, so then we're going
And
to
so
vote
then
on.
we will vote on the plan as amended.
Okay, thank you.
Supervisor Boots.
I'm going to vote no on this. I can appreciate what Supervisor Zhang is doing, but at this point, I don't want to hold the new board to anything. If they want to bring this up, they can bring this up. So I will be voting no.
Okay, Supervisor Poole, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think because the implications of this are so unclear yet, it needs further review. But instead of referring it to committee, I would say we just vote it down and let somebody bring it up if they want to. They can choose to or not. After that, I think that's just much cleaner. Thank you.
Supervisor Cavalli, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple of things that I noticed in here. The word should is a suggestion. If that said shall, I'd probably vote it down because shall is something that you must do. Should is just a suggestion to the plan. And then the other point would be that the amendment that Supervisor Zhang put forth, I think the time frame is too short. I think that it should be extended to July. Thank you.
All right. The discussion on is the motion to refer to committee with the committee bringing back a recommendation in May. I guess I would echo one question, and that is that because the committees will be reformulated, you're going to have potentially new members on the committee. I don't know that this is ready for prime time or would be potentially ready for prime time in May. Yeah. But the motion is to refer back to committee. Supervisor Zhang, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So if I was to, I guess I'm going to try to figure out how the best way to do this. I couldn't make an amendment to my motion. Is that correct here? And amending the date to, as Supervisor Corvelli said, July. As long as Supervisor Mask is okay with that as well too. Can we take the approach of a friendly amendment in this case?
As the one parliamentarian always told me, there's no such thing as friendly amendments. Yeah.
That is correct.
And I've been told that by multiple parliamentarians. I think because we're in the debate so far, it would have to be offered as an amendment.
If that is the case, then I will make that amendment to change the date to July of 2026, not 2027. Just want to be sure.
Is there a second to the amendment to refer? Supervisor Shamebore with the second. Supervisor Robinson with the.
I just encourage us to vote no on the entire notion of sending it back. I think we're into guessing about what time we're going to have the solution. Any member of this board can bring forth an idea to amend the comprehensive plan at any time going forward. We don't need to send it to committee. If Supervisor Sandelsky wishes to have it considered, he can bring it up, or any other member can bring it up. I just think we ought to just move on.
Any further discussion? Okay, the motion is to amend the motion to refer from May to July. Any further discussion? Again, we're still just voting now on the amendment to change the date to refer, bringing back recommendation to July. Is everybody clear?
Ms. Kimmons may have a comment on that.
Ms. Kimmons, Laurie?
No, I was just explaining to Corporation Counsel that from a process standpoint, if the comprehensive plan passes tonight and this does go back to a committee, then we will have to just redo some process steps to reopen the comp plan again and do another public hearing and another notification as required by statute, and then bring it all back through again. So I was just clarifying that process.
Lori, they're referring only the amendment to the?
Correct.
Okay.
But I guess what I'm saying is if a new comprehensive plan, if you adopt a new comprehensive plan tonight, then that means if we are going to open it up at any point in the future, even for one amendment, we do have to do that. We do have to follow state statutes.
All right. Supervisor Zhang, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With the added information from the CPC director, I think it's just a lot easier for us to just withdraw for me to withdraw my motion, and we'll just vote from there and we'll go from there. I think it's just easier because if we're gonna have to go through the whole process, I think it's just a lot easier that way. So I'm going to withdraw my.
But at this point, the motion's been debated, so I'm not gonna allow a withdrawal. The proper way to handle it would be to vote it down. And we can vote down the amendment to the amendment, then the motion to refer can be voted down, and then the amendment can be voted down if that's the will of the board. Is that clear? All right, we are now on the motion to amend the date of referral back to the July, and with a recommendation bringing it back in July. Is everybody clear? All right, we'll proceed to vote. Supervisor Conway? Thank you. Supervisor Conway is a no. And we'll proceed. And the motion is defeated. Now on the motion to refer to the bring back in the May meeting. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Okay, we will proceed. We'll proceed. And the motion is defeated. Now on the amendment. There was people that were in the queue. Supervisor Poole.
I'll cancel that. I said what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Supervisor Cavelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to point out one more time, the word should does not lock us into any actionable item. So I can support this.
Okay, any further discussion? Any further discussion? All right, we're now voting on the amendment offered by Supervisor Sandelsky. Are everybody clear on what you're voting on? All right, we'll proceed to vote. And we'll proceed. And the motion is defeated. Now we are back to the comp plan as amended. Any further discussion on the comp plan as amended? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried, but is not unanimous. We're moving on to resolutions. Human Resources, Finance, and Property Committee establishing salaries for the Clerk of Courts, Sheriff, elected department heads for the upcoming term of office. Resolution 12-26. Motion by Supervisor Conway, seconded by Supervisor Rosenberg. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. Supervisor Seibert? And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried. Moving on to item E16, authorizing staff to proceed with Phase 2 design services for the new highway facility, Resolution 13-26. Motion by Supervisor Robinson, seconded by Supervisor Vall. Any discussion? Supervisor Seibert, please.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Gibbs. Somewhere down the process, I would like to get some information on the old facility and what is being planned with that. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know that we have a clear, definitive, definitive plan at this point. I know that the HR Finance and Property Committee will be taking it up at some point, but that's potentially years down the road before we're actually into a new facility and we're not in use of this facility. But you're right, that is something that will be brought to the board. Supervisor Sandalski, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had a question, because right now we're around 53 million for that, but it isn't fully approved yet, right? It could be
You're not approving the 53 million potential cost that's been cited and discussed. That's not even part of this discussion.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that, because I thought it was in the packet, but no.
Any further discussion? All right, proceed to vote. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried and is unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to item E17, authorizing the engagement of outside counsel on a contingency fee basis to initiate lawsuits on PFAS and soil and groundwater and surface water of Marathon County with highly toxic chemicals. Resolution 14-26. Motion by Supervisor Robinson, seconded by Supervisor Seifelt. Any discussion? Supervisor Robinson, please.
Thank you, Chair. I believe there are two amendments before you, one offered by Supervisor Dickinson and the other by myself. The intent of mine is to have administration work on trying to identify where our risks and costs might be and to determine the extent of the risk to the county for the purposes of strengthening our case when we go into the cost recovery. So I would move to adopt the language that is contained in the amendment called the Robinson Amendment and add now be it further resolved, the county administrator is directed to evaluate past and present practices that may have resulted in a release of or exposure to PFAS in county operations to determine the extent of risk to the county.
Okay, the clerk needs to enter that. Is there a second to that amendment? Seconded by Supervisor Griner. Any further discussion on the amendment? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. Supervisor Hagan? And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried and is unanimous. Thank you. Any further discussion? Vice Chair Dickinson, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My amendment was in conversation with the airport director over two areas of language with reference to the airport, moving those into language for county property, and then removing some language, but talked about historical use on the property. And they are in the packet on page 81. Thank you.
Okay. Clerk needs to, clerk is already ahead of everybody. Motion by Vice Chair Dickinson, seconded by Supervisor Arstead to incorporate the language as referred to by Vice Chair Dickinson. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried unanimous. And now back to the resolution as amended. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. Oh, just a second.
Oh, that's all right.
All right, now we'll proceed to vote. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried and is unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to a resolution approving carry forwards and associated budget amendments. Resolution R-20-26. Supervisor Marash with the motion, Supervisor Arstead with the second. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. Supervisor Hoppe? Thank you. And we'll proceed, and the motion is carried. Moving on to item E19, a resolution approving capital asset threshold of $10,000 for general capital assets and $50,000 for infrastructure assets, Resolution 21-26. Motion by Supervisor Robinson, seconded by Supervisor Mask. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried, but is not unanimous. Moving on to Human Resources, Finance and Property Committee and Public Safety Committee. Item F20, to amend the 2026 budget to accept law enforcement drug trafficking response grant resolution R-17-26. Motion by Supervisor Zhang and seconded by Supervisor Poole. Any discussion? All righty, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried and is unanimous. Thank you. Item G21, ratification of the confirmation of the declaration of a local state of emergency, Resolution 22-26. Motion by Supervisor Seifelt, seconded by Supervisor Arstead. I would offer Administrator Leonard a opportunity to explain the ratification.
I'll go real quick on the ratification and then I'll end with a thank you to all our staff. There's a memo in your packet. The short explanation is the governor declared an emergency that expired shortly after the blizzard event began. His declaration ended on the 16th to preserve our opportunity as a county to potentially leverage reimbursement or funding through other sources in connection with our response. Under state statute and other applicable laws, we issued this local declaration. Ratification is required to preserve that opportunity. I just wanted to, Kevin was in the back for a bit of the meeting, but I want to give a big shout out to our team, whether it's facilities, Parks, Rec and Forestry, Highway, the Sheriff's Office and Central Wisconsin Airport and others, our 24/7 operations. To put it in context, over about a 24-hour span, just between facilities and Parks, Rec and Forestry, we had over 600 hours of call-in additional time. That's not talking about Highway. Kevin referenced it at a recent committee meeting. For Highway, we had people working 12 to 16-hour shifts, taking a nap on a cot in an office at the Highway Department and going out and plowing roads again. Our Parks and Facilities people were making trips through the courthouse to make sure that shift change for dispatch and corrections could get in and be here. We had staff sleeping here. North Central Healthcare did the same for their crisis unit and nursing homes. And Central Wisconsin Airport kept the airport going. So this was no small effort for us to do that. And I just want to give a big shout out to that team across the county. They did an exceptional job.
Supervisor Pfifferk, please.
Thank you. And I want to echo Administrator Leonard's words as the chair of the Infrastructure Committee. From administration to communications to those in the field, I think everybody did a great job in stepping up. And a lot of people going above and beyond what they needed to do during this event that was pretty unprecedented in nature. So big thank you to our staff, from everybody from the top to bottom that stepped up.
Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried and is unanimous. Thank you. We're down to item number H. And H22 provides for the opportunity for the board to go into closed session in reviewing the performance evaluation of the administrator, the sole employee that this county board has. What I will say is the executive committee took up this issue by our rules. The board was polled, and we took the input from the board that was summarized last Thursday and provided to this board to review, and took that up as information when the executive committee did and finalized the evaluation. So we have an opportunity, if the board is so desired, to go into closed session. I will, however, make a note that the executive committee took the summary along with the summary of the evaluation of the executive committee and concluded and finished the administrator's summary and eval, and also put him in the appropriate pay scale on the pay as this board has adopted the new pay structure and put him in the appropriate spot. So if there's any desire, we can go into closed session, but the board is not required to go into closed session for this item if they choose not to. I bring it up for discussion. So the board is required to finalize the eval. I will say that there was no wording changes on any of the summary that was reviewed by this board last Thursday. But if there is the desire to go into closed session to review it again, more than an opportunity, there is an opportunity to do that. But if they choose not to, they can just finalize and approve the eval that was presented last Thursday, which is basically the same eval that was reviewed by the exec committee. So what is the pleasure of the board? Supervisor Robinson, please.
If you're looking for a motion to accept the recommendation of the executive committee relative to the salary of the administrator, I would make that motion. And to accept the performance evaluation.
Okay, I've got a motion by Supervisor Robinson and a second by Supervisor Cavalli. Okay, any discussion on the motion to accept the executive committee summary and report and the salary recommendations for the administrator moving forward? Any discussion? All right. Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. Oh, just a second. No hands on the buttons. Randy, you were too quick.
Okay.
All right, now we will proceed to vote. Supervisor Mask? Supervisor Mask, aye, thank you. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried and is unanimous. Thank you. We are down to announcements and/or requests. First off, a couple of announcements. One, there are several people on this board that this will be their last official meeting. And I want to thank them specifically for them doing their civic duty and working on the county board. Supervisor Kroll, Supervisor Pfeffrick, Supervisor Rosenberg, Supervisor Hardinger, Supervisor Vall, and Supervisor Reynolds. I want to thank you for your dedication to the constituents you serve of Marathon County. Also, just an announcement. And I missed Supervisor Marshall, and I apologize. I was writing down really quickly earlier, and I apologize to Vice Chair Marshall on the HR Finance Committee. I do also want to make an announcement, if this is your last meeting, that normally our board rules say that in mileage reimbursement is by quarter. If you have a meeting after April 1, or excuse me, March 31st, please, and you attend those meetings and you submit mileage reimbursement, wait till all of your official responsibilities are completed and then submit those mileage reimbursement requests.
They can turn their iPads into. What's that? They can turn their iPads into.
Yeah, and you can, if you will, please turn in your iPads to the clerk after your final official meeting has been completed. With that, I would open it up. Any other announcements or requests? Supervisor Radke, please.
Yeah, every year, the North Central Wisconsin Labor Council, along with the Portage Labor Council and other local unions in in central Wisconsin, they hold this U.S. Labor Then and Now. We go over a few films, this time we're going over the Gilded Age, Palmer Raids, sit-down strikes, the Minneapolis trucker strike, McCarthyism, and Patco. That's on March 28th, 2026, down at the Stevens Point campus with the College of Professional Studies in room 116. So just leaving everybody know about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Zhang, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 2026 marks the 50th anniversary of the first Hmong family to call Wausau their home. The Hmong community is hosting a celebration on April 4th at the Central Wisconsin Expo Center. Doors open at 10 and the program will begin at 11. And a big thank you to Marathon County for sponsoring the event as well, making it a possibility. So please do come out enjoying the food and the numerous activities that will be there as well. Thank you.
All right, I was a little bit quick on moving to the next, but I would want to expressly thank, again, Supervisor Kroll, Supervisor Pfeffrick, Supervisor Marshall, Supervisor Rosenberg, Supervisor Hardinger, Supervisor Vall, and Reynolds for their civic duty and their service to this community. Any other announcements? Any other announcements? Seeing none, we are down to item J. What is your pleasure? Motion by Supervisor Hart, seconded by Supervisor Crivelli to adjourn the last time for this full board meeting, our full board. So is there any discussion? It's not debatable. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye. Opposed? We